For centuries, the story of Troy has been a legend. But where did this epic of gods and mortals truly begin? It started not on the battlefield, but at a divine banquet. It began with a golden apple, thrown by the goddess Eris, and a simple inscription, "For the fairest." 3 powerful goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, each claimed it was meant for them. Unable to settle the dispute, Zeus passed the impossible task to a mortal, a young prince of Troy named Paris, known for his wisdom and judgment. Each goddess offered a bribe. Hera promised him power and a great kingdom. Athena offered wisdom and victory in war. But Aphrodite's offer was far more enticing. She promised him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Sparta. Blinded by passion, Paris chose Aphrodite, setting a chain of events into motion that would change the world. Fulfilling her promise, Aphrodite led Paris to Sparta, where he abducted Helen, the wife of King Menelaus. This act of betrayal was a grave offense. Consumed by rage, Menelaus called upon his brother, Agamemnon, king of Mycenae. Together, they rallied the Greek city-states, uniting them under a single bloody banner. An enormous army of 1,000 ships set sail across the Aegean Sea, determined to retrieve Helen and restore Greek honor. Their destination was a legendary city, the city of Troy, a fortress of immense walls and indomitable spirit. For 10 long years, the Greeks laid siege, but the city would not fall. The Greek alliance was a collection of legendary heroes. At their head was King Agamemnon, but the true strength lay in his formidable allies. The unyielding warrior Achilles, a man of legend before the war even began. His rage was as fierce as his skill with a sword. Then there was the brilliant and cunning Odysseus, king of Ithaca. He was the mind behind the muscle, the hero whose intellect was his most powerful weapon. Within the walls of Troy, a nation defended by the noble King Priam and his sons, they fought not for conquest, but for their very survival. Leading the Trojan defense was the noble Hector, the city's protector. He fought not for glory, but for his family and the people of Troy. He was the city's greatest hope. And then there was Paris, the cause of the war, a man of less heroic stature, whose actions sparked a conflict that engulfed nations and would lead to a decade of bloodshed. For nearly a decade, the war became a brutal stalemate. The Greeks could not breach the mighty walls, and the Trojans, though brave, could not drive them away. The battlefield became a graveyard for countless heroes. Years turned into a grinding war of attrition. The Greek army grew weary, their patience wearing thin with each passing season. Morale was low, and tensions ran high. And so, in a moment of frustration and arrogance, a foolish quarrel erupted between the leaders, a conflict that would jeopardize the entire Greek campaign and change the course of the war. The war was stalled by a foolish quarrel. When Agamemnon insulted Achilles, the great warrior withdrew from the battle, leaving the Greeks vulnerable. Seeing his friends fall, Patroclus, Achilles' closest companion, wore his armor and joined the fight, driving back the Trojans.
But in the midst of the battle, Patroclus was killed by the might of Hector. This act was the turning point of the war. When the news reached Achilles, his grief turned to a fiery, all-consuming rage. He swore to avenge his friend, no matter the cost.
The two greatest warriors of the age finally met in a duel that would decide the fate of both men. Achilles, fueled by his grief, was merciless. In a final, brutal display, Achilles defeated Hector and desecrated his body. The death of Troy's noblest hero sealed the city's fate. In the dead of night, the noble King Priam, guided by the god Hermes, risked everything to beg for his son's body. He humbled himself before the man who had brought him so much pain. Seeing the old king's grief, Achilles was moved. For a moment, the war and its rage vanished, replaced by a shared sorrow for the loss of a son and a friend. In an act of compassion, Achilles returned Hector's body to his father. The truce that followed allowed both sides to mourn their fallen heroes, a brief pause in a long and brutal war. But the greatest hero was not destined to see victory. His mother, Thetis, had dipped him in the river Styx to make him invincible, but his heel, the part she held, remained vulnerable. And so, the unassailable warrior fell, struck down by a single arrow from the hand of Paris, guided by the god Apollo. With their greatest warrior gone, the Greeks needed more than strength and rage. They needed a new kind of weapon, and the cunning Odysseus had just the idea to finally bring the city to its knees. After 10 years, the Greeks had a final, cunning plan. Under the guidance of Odysseus, they pretended to abandon the siege and sailed away. But they left behind a gift, a massive wooden horse. It was an offering to the gods, a gift of victory. Ignoring all warnings, they dragged the colossal horse inside their city, believing it to be a sign of their triumph. The city walls, which had held for a decade, now opened to their doom. Inside the horse, Greek soldiers waited. As the Trojans celebrated their perceived victory, they prepared for the final assault. Under the cover of darkness, the soldiers crept out of the horse and opened the city gates. The waiting Greek army, which had only pretended to retreat, now poured into the unsuspecting city. The once proud city was in chaos. The Trojans, caught off guard, were unable to defend themselves. The slaughter was swift and merciless. But a few survivors escaped the destruction. Among them was the Trojan hero Aeneas, who carried the hope of his people into a new land. The city of Troy fell, its legend etched into the annals of history. The war for Helen was over, but the story of its heroes and its fall was just beginning. For centuries, Troy was believed to be nothing but a myth, but archaeological discoveries in the 19th century revealed that this great city was real. Today, the ruins of Troy stand as a testament to the fact that some legends are more than just stories. They are echoes of a real, epic past. The story of Troy, immortalized by the poet Homer, continues to inspire and captivate, teaches us about fate, honor, and the destructive power of human passion. The story of Troy is a testament to the enduring power of myth. Join us next time as we explore another great legend, this time from the shifting sands of ancient Egypt.